How is it going, everybody? Hope you're having a most wonderful day. Today's video is going to be how to solve a problem with your Camaro that seems to be very common. And what is that problem? We'll get right back to it in just a second. Alright, here we are. It seems to be a common problem for some reason, whatever, I don't know. But you're going down the road, driving, and you notice your car at the stoplight just has a little bit of a funny idle toward, or when you take off, it doesn't take off the same. It just feels different to you. But you don't really pay any attention. You keep going. I mean, what are you going to do? Pull over on the side of the road and work on it? So you go on down the road a little further, maybe the next stoplight. You get out, go in somewhere and run an errand, whatever. Come back out, switch it on, fire it up. All of a sudden, this happens. Now just imagine, all of those freaking lights are on. What is going on? Here, let me show you again. It'll be kind of hard to see. Hold on, I'm sorry about the noise. But as you can see, the check engine light's on, the tire pressure monitoring system light's on, the brake light is on because I have the brake engaged. But in a minute, there it goes, service stability track is back on, the traction control is off, slippery when wet is off, all that stuff. Every light on this joker is on. Now the check engine light is flashing. So if you're like me and you don't have a scan tool, which I need to get one, I know, and I'm going to, but I want to get a good one, so that's why I haven't had one yet. Well, you take it over to Advanced Auto, AutoZone, any of those places, they just plug it in, and they give you the code that I'll put below. I think it's 304, but anyhow, it'll tell you cylinder 4 misfire. Cylinder 4 misfire, okay. Well, I put different plugs in this car before when I put my headers on. I put NGKs, and that probably hadn't been 6,000–7,000 miles ago. So I know it's not that. So it's either got to be, if it is, there's something really wrong with that cylinder. And when I took the old plugs out, there was no oil, no wetness, no nothing to the plug. So I know right now that that's not the problem. But the first thing AutoZone, Advanced Auto, and all those places are going to tell you, you need to buy a new coil. Okay. One new coil pack is $100, give or take, depending on which one you get and where you get it. And then you go take it and put it on, and lo and behold, that ain't the problem. Well, then they're going to try to sell you a whole pack of wires, which is another $120, $130, depending on what you get. It could be up to $230, $250. So, what do you do, right? If you are not a mechanic, you don't have the right tools, what can you do to not throw a bunch of money out the window chasing parts that you don't need? Because once you install that coil pack you didn't need, they're not going to take it back. Once you put that plug wire on that you didn't need, they're not going to take it back. So here's a quick, down and dirty way to test the coil and the wires. Okay. Now, yes, it could be the PCM, or the body control manual module, the PCM, not sending the poles for the injectors of fire. That is a possibility. It's possible that your rings or something have gone bad and you've lost compression of that cylinder. That's possible. Neither one of those scenarios are likely, but they are possible. But here's a down and dirty way for you at home to be able to check these things, and all it's going to take is two things: a spark plug, like the one that I took out, or just a random one that you have around the house, or you go to Advanced Auto, spend $4 or $5 on one plug. That's all it's going to take to check the coil, and a length of wire about 3.5 feet long. And the second thing it's going to take to check the wires themselves is an ohm meter or voltmeter. You know, it has just a little digital ohm meter that has the red and black probes coming out of it. That's to check the wires, the resistance on the wires. So let's get to it and I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. Alright, first thing you're going to have to do is remove your engine cover. This thing. And trust me, it's not hard. It's very simple. All you have to do is take your oil cap off, but remember to put this back on because you don't want any trash or anything falling there. Gently pull up on the corners, right? Both corners. And then this thing will pull straight out. But if you have one that's painted, you need to take extra care not to scuff your paint, right? But just pull that out, and voila, there's your engine. And as I stated, be sure to put the oil filler cap back on. If you look at these engines from standing at the front, you're going to have even numbers on the right, odd numbers on the right, 1357, even numbers on the left, 2468. So the coil pack in question, if we come over to this side, there's number 2, and there's number 4. So all I'm going to do is follow this down. Here's the plug wires right there. I'm going to pull that plug wire out, and then I'm going to stick the spark plug in it. Now, here we go. Like I said, I've got my wires. Yep, there's the guy that likes to blow dust all over my freaking cars. But I've got my wires coming over from the ground, because let's face it, whenever you are testing electricity on electronic controlled stuff, you got to have a hot, you got to have a ground. The coil is going to supply the hot, and there's my ground. But when I come over here to look at things, I got to looking. Like I said, here's the number 2 coil, there's the number 4 coil. You notice anything missing like this right in here? For whatever reason, dang, mosquito flew up my nose. For whatever reason, my spark plug wire is laying right there. So mine is ultra simple this time. I couldn't get any luckier than that. So all I got to do is plug it back in, and we're good to go. But for sake of the video, I want to show you exactly what I'm talking about. So here's the wire. All I'm going to do is take an old spark plug, stick it in there, right? That's all we're doing. Take that, plug it back into the coil. I'm sorry for the bouncing around and everything, but this is kind of complicated doing this, trying to hold a camera and everything. I'm going to take that and plug that sucker back into my coil. I can't believe that. Hey, but at least it ain't gonna cost me any money, right? I come out very lucky. And once you get it like that, you want to position the coil to where it's not gonna make any contact with any other metal, right? Because you don't want it grounding anything but to the ground. Okay, to make sure it's plugged in good, which it is. Take your ground that you have run from over there and hook it up to the electrode on the spark plug, like so. And now just crank the car over. Now that the car is running, come right here and look. Hopefully that's coming through. You can see it sparking. And you don't want to keep letting it run that way, so just go ahead and switch it back off. And that's all there is to checking your coil, guys. I mean, it's that simple. It is really, really that simple. Luckily, in my case, I'm not going to spend any money. For whatever reason, the plug wire just fell off and was dangling there. Now I'm going to check it and make sure there's no scorch marks or anything on it from laying on the exhaust or anything like that. But if there isn't anything wrong with it, then I'm just going to leave it be and go with it. I don't know why it fell off. I guess just over time it decided whatever and fell off. It's kind of odd, kind of strange. I've never seen it happen before. But that is how you test your plug wires. I mean your coils. And I'll show you how to do the wires themselves here in just a minute. Alright, here we have the spark plug wire that we're wondering about. This happens to be a fluke ohm meter, but you don't have to have an expensive one, just a cheap one that will let you read ohms, which is the little horseshoe. Okay, and all you're going to do is you're going to take one end and touch it to that, right? And you're going to take the other end. Now on this particular type of plug wire, I don't know how good you can see down in there, but the metal is actually way down in there. So you're going to have to take the probe and stick it up in there real good, and then kind of cock it to the side like so. And then once you do that, you should get some kind of resistance. And depending on the length of wire, as you can see, I have 0.765 thousand, right? That's what the K stands for, 1,000 ohms of resistance, 0.764. A general rule of thumb for a foot of wire, you should have roughly 6 to 7 thousandths of ohm of, dang it, I can't talk. 6 or 7 thousandths resistance of ohms, okay, per foot of wire. Well, this ain't quite a foot. That's why we have more than 6 or 7,000. We're up to right around 7,600. But that's how you check the wire. And I'll show you again, just so you know there's no confusion. See that middle piece right there? Stick it in that, kind of cock it to the side a little bit, that way it makes contact. Again, you've got the metal way inside of this one. I hope it's coming through in the camera. I don't know if it is, but trust me, it's down to right about there. Stick the other end in as far as you can, push on the spring, and cock it to the side. And then watch the numbers go up. See, I'm at 7, I'm just going to say, I'm not making good contact now. 77, well, look at that. I need to put that in for my lottery ticket tonight to pick 3. But I'm at 7, roughly 0.775 of 1,000 on the resistance, which is perfect. I mean, like I said, rule of thumb, 6,500 to 7,000 ohms on a foot of wire. With the new wires, it's a little bit different, you know, depending on the length. As you can see, this is not a foot. This is 10 inches maybe. And that's how you check it. I mean, rather than going out and buying a whole set of wires that you don't need, just because they tell you, you know, oh, this is what's wrong with it because that's the code, or the coil pack. Well, now you know how to check both of them. And the first thing I would check is to see if you're getting spark through a whole spark plug. If you're not, check your wire. If the wire shows resistance like it just did, then you know at that time that yes, the coil pack is bad. Go ahead and spend the $80 to $100 to get one. But if you don't have any resistance on this, then this wire is bad. It's broken, it's wore out, something along those lines. But there you go, guys, it's that simple. I mean, yes, there's a lot of electronics under these hoods and stuff that really can intimidate you, but as long as you have a little common sense and somebody willing to at least walk you through the procedure, like I'm doing on this, you know, to show you how to chase down the gremlins, if you will, it's not that bad. It really isn't. And now you can, if you get this code, you know what to check. Like I said, check to make sure it's getting fire first, but by all means, run you aground to some good contact. Doesn't have to be that one. You can pull this cap off, and the top to your shock will be right there. That's a good non-painted surface. You can clip on that. Just whatever you can find that is non-painted, right? That just happens to be what GM gives Camaro owners, that and the hot for jump starting cars and dead batteries, charging, battery tenders, stuff like that. But yeah, just make sure you have a good ground, because anything electronic has to have a ground. It has to have the hot, which would have been supplied by the coil if the coil was working, which it was. But if you would not have gotten spark, check the wire for resistance. No resistance, bad wire. Good resistance, bad coil pipe. And it's that simple. So don't be intimidated by the codes that flash up on your data display or anything like that, or whatever they tell you over at Vance Auto, AutoZone, any of those places. Don't let them intimidate you. But the main thing is, get out there and enjoy your car. I enjoy stuff like this. You know, I don't enjoy my car not running right, but I enjoy getting out here figuring this stuff out. So now you too know how to do it. Get out there and enjoy your cars, and we'll see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching.